be here. I'm very honored by this award. And it took me by surprise when Kenny called me and told me, hey, listen, because I always consider myself too old for all this stuff. I'm 59 years old now. And although I still teach around the world, and I wrote a book recently called The Dancing Gangsters of the South Bronx, which actually tells a part of the story, a huge part of the story that's never told, including the real story of the Warriors. Anybody here see the movie The Warriors? Right? Well, the reason that they didn't tell the true story about us back in those days was because I was at that real gang meeting, which that movie was made about, filmed about, right? Which was December 7th, 1971, after Black Benji got killed, right? So the reason they didn't tell our real story was because it was too violent. This is back in the late 70s, right? When they released it, I think in the 81, something like that. But it was too violent. And they wanted the story to appeal to general audiences, so that even kids could go watch it, right? So they made us look like clowns with roller skates and makeup and all that stuff. And I'm like, okay, cool. Because if those dudes from Brooklyn would have came to the Bronx, they would have never got home. Right, so I don't know what this whole, but we were offended for a little while. But then when I found out what the reason behind it, I'm like, okay, that's more acceptable. And that didn't happen for a long time, of course. And it actually happened when I was really into writing my book to tell this true story. Because when Pop Master Fable Pavone found me in 2009, through a good friend of mine who's a Hollywood film director, Frank Reyes, you may have seen some of his films, Empire with John Leguizamo and Fat Joe, and several others. At any rate, when he found me, introduced me to Fable, he introduced me back into this world. Because I was running my own company, Latin Empire Entertainment, where I was booking artists like India and a bunch of the top reggaeton artists in the industry. And then when they lured me back into dancing, I'm like, oh shit, I forgot the love and the passion that I had for this dance. And even though I made more money doing that, I eventually stopped doing that to come back into this world. And my first tour, by the way, was my man who just received the award tonight, my man Khalif, right? In 2011, right? And I was like, wow, this is awesome. And Khalif and I became great friends, and he's like my brother now. But you know, I just felt like a young kid again. You know, not that I don't consider myself too long, because I'll never grow up. I'm a Toys R Us kid. Right? So my thing is right now I'm doing some stuff to bring the missing pages of history to life again, because the story has been told for 40 years, but it's never been told completely. And there are many portions, huge portions, even in the documentary recently released called The Rubble Kings. I don't know if any of you have seen that. Have you any of you seen that? The Rubble Kings, right? But that documentary, which is now on Netflix, by the way, it omitted the Puerto Rican factor, the things that we did, the contributions we made, the influence that we had. Because I am one of the original pioneers of the Latin hustle. Anybody know familiar with the hustle? The hustle? Helped create that dance. And so when Fable first brought me back as the vice president of Rocksteady Crew, I was like, wait, but there's a whole lot missing here. What about what we did? So I made it my mission in life to come back here and start sharing the truth, which is the reason why I wrote my book. Yep. This is my book here. It's called The Dancing Gangsters of the South Bronx. Because this is the way we made peace. One of the most violent gangs of the South Bronx back in the early 70s. Actually, this was based from this takes place from the late 60s through the early 80s. But when we made Final Peace, okay, in the back of it will show buildings burning, me doing the Latin hustle, and my gang, the Imperial Bastards, the ones who actually did those parties every Tuesday and Thursdays at St. Mary's, that brought all the most violent gangs of the South Bronx together in peace and unity through a dance called the Latin Hustle and Rocky. A lot of people don't know that story. It's never been told. I tell it in my book. Done. And so that's my mission in life now, but I love teaching kids. So I've traveled the world with Khalif and Why Not and Mr. Wiggles and Crazy Legs and a host of others, including my brother Buddha Stretch, who's here tonight too. And I want to thank you again for having me tonight.